Hey now, and how are you doing? Want to welcome you to the next episode of Peace, Love, and Bring a Bat. I met this next guest, Craig. Man, I can't wait to talk about him because there's so much on so many different levels that we're gonna have. I don't know where the episode's gonna go, but we're gonna learn about a lot of things. We're also gonna find ways to support people like Craig. And man, let's go introduce. How are you doing today, Craig?
Pretty good. Thanks for the opportunity. Really
All right.
appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you for showing up, man. Part of Craig's story. So why don't you tell everybody about your story, and then we'll start hitting the questions.
So I was 9/11 respondent to the World Trade Center. I ended up developing lung cancer in 2012. And what I realized going through it, I've been battling this for 13 years. I realized that there's a lot of guys on the pile, and the sickness is everywhere, the illness is everywhere. And what I have found for myself is that it's not just cancer; it's GERDs, Barrett's esophagus. Like my throat can literally close at any time, and I got financially wiped out. I've got mentally wiped out. I got divorced over this shit. I've gotten life just life,
Yep.
you know. And what a lot of people don't understand is that you can come back, you can bounce back, you can stand up again. And I'm an advocate, patient advocate, as well as a mental health advocate, because I believe, life is going to beat us down, whether we want to participate or not. It's when you show up for your life, you have to tackle it. You have to gain the wisdom through growing through your pain. And I'm here to express a message that I'm here to disturb the comfortable and comfort the disturbed.
Yep. I love that, and that's what we're gonna look to talk. Well, you said you were a volunteer, so
Yeah.
what brought you to the pile? Like,
So I was renovating two houses in Jersey City, downtown Jersey City. Um, and I was at one of my houses and I was going to my other house. And when I walked out of my house on my stoop, I looked down and one of the towers were on fire. So I ran around the corner to my other house to get my fiance at the time. And she was a photographer. And I told her, like, go get your camera. And she's like, what's up? And I was like, I have no idea, but the tower's on fire. And when we got down to the river, both towers are on fire. And it was like complete pandemonium, complete chaos. And what I had found out, like as all of this pandemonium's going on, one of the towers fell. And as one of the towers fell, she's got pictures like click, click, click all the way down. And we ended up going to Liberty State Park.
hmm
The cops with the bullhorns get out of the way. You don't know what's going. Complete pandemonium. So as we were going to Liberty State Park, the second tower fell, and the exact same thing happened. She's got pictures of all this stuff coming down, and as people, maybe like a half hour, 45 minutes after that happened, people started coming off the boats. And as they started coming off the boats, I mean, they were completely disheveled. They were like
yeah.
completely like covered in ash. And I've been in construction my whole life. And I looked at it and I was like, I got to get there. I got to go. And it was quite an experience.
I can't imagine. I've seen the videos. I hadn't been down there during the beginning of it. I was in the city, so how the city was, just how the city shut down that day. You know, uh, they locked down the subways and stuff like that. And just the uniqueness of that experience, and then even the telephones, right? Our cell
Yeah.
services were shut down. It was one of the wildest days that I came, and I grew up in New York City, and it was a pin. I was in Midtown, so it wasn't that I was near the trade center, uh, but no matter where you were, people were quiet. Like nobody spoke, nobody yelled. It was a great time in the city, not that day, but right afterwards. We all loved each other. We lost our New Yorkness a little bit. But actually, I go, I say that as a joke, but I don't say that as a joke. There's people like you, even though you live in Jersey, we'll forgive you for that. But no, but it's that New Yorkness. What they have is that attitude that Jersey has it as well. in that, all right, I might not like you, you might not like me, but if somebody comes over and punches you in the nose, I got your back, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's that we're in it together. We know who the guys are that we want to have our backs. I can make fun of you and bust your chops all day long.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
and then to hear that somebody like yourself, you had the skill set and you knew how to just roll up your sleeves and get there. That's incredible. Tells a lot about who you are.
I appreciate it.
I know
I
you
do.
don't look at it that way, but
I don't.
I mean, I thought about a lot, and I was like, what can I do? I don't have a medical background. I don't, I, at that time, I wasn't even CPR trained. What could I do that would be helpful?
Well, I
And
was in construction as I was
right,
renovating buildings, and I figured I might as well go because I might as well be there than somebody else that's not in trades.
yeah, but it's still that leadership that you have is like, I know I could help, and you showed up, and thank you for that. I know lots of people who are down there, and it means a lot, and for somebody who didn't, right? I'm always, I didn't go into the military or anything like that by choice, but anybody who gives up their time and puts their foot forward by saying that, I'm always saying thank you. I don't want to hear if I agree with it. We can go, no, man, thank you. And so what is that? The pile? I mean, how long were you there?
So here's the funny part. We were getting married in Florida in October, so we were in the process of moving. So I was there 2 days of the first 5 days,
Wow,
and it just so happened that you had to be there 4 hours of the first 5 days. I was there 2 days of the first 5 days, and I hit the wrong lotto. I was started getting sick in 2012. I had a collapsed lobe in my right lung, and from there it just started spiraling out of control. And like 25 years later, I have GERDs, Barrett's esophagus, PTSD. I'm starting to get memory loss. I'm starting to, just not be healthy. And I actually had to move down to Merida, Mexico, to be seen by doctors because I got kicked out of the health program because I didn't have primary insurance. And
wow,
it's one of those things where it's like when it was 2 years ago, my buddy passed away, and I was in the process of coming down here. They wanted $1,900 a month for my insurance with a $10,000 deductible, and then now they wanted $4,000 a month with a $10,000 deductible. And I was like, I just can't do it. I can't do it. I went bankrupt over this. I lost. We sold everything numerous times just to sustain ourselves.
sure.
And it's one of those things where it's like in the United States, when you get sick, it'll wipe you out. I used to be a 7-figure earner, man, and I couldn't even pay the electric bill. That's quite humbling.
Holy moly. Yeah, that's just incredible. Incredible of what we put ourselves through, uh, and how that just hits us back. So medically, but right away. So right, well, I guess it took a while for all of that to go, and the buildings, right? They were built in the 70s. Asbestos was like the go-to thing, which we
Go
didn't know.
to insulator.
Yeah, we didn't know. We didn't know what we didn't know, and then once we learned it, it was too late.
But that's the whole thing too. Like after the towers came down, like I'm still in awe that I stood on top of the World Trade Centers after they came down. That still blows my mind, right? And but it was all the leadership that were kind of like, don't worry, man, air's clean, everything is good, everything's okay.
Yeah.
And we just never looked back. And now there's files coming out where they knew it was messed up. They knew all of it was messed up. They wanted to get Wall Street open, and just they didn't
Right. They,
care.
they, they had a shit. They made a decision, and a
Yeah,
lot of those decisions are dollar based and panic based, right? That if you shut down, so many of the big, mechanics of the world, what happened.
Yeah.
And that's to this day, it's always at the end of the day, where are the mechanics and who's paying for it?
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Who's paying for it? We are.
Yep,
One of
yep.
tens of thousands that are sick and dying.
Well, that's the part. So how have you? Because you're also an advocate. So let's talk a little bit about that advocacy. That you, again, you're a leader from day one in this thing. With 9/11. How did you decide that you needed to be the advocate?
So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, if it's gonna happen to anybody, it's happened to me. I was told 4 different times that I was going to be treated for 4 different cancers, and they were only right once. And yet the I walked into one of the appointments, and no, I'm sorry, it was an ER, and one of the nurses in there, she was like, they just did basic tests, and they were like, we're going to be treating you for male breast cancer, and I was like, what? And I come to find out I had 20 lipomas in my chest, right? So it was two different diagnoses of male breast cancer. One was on my left side and one was on my right side. And of course, I have the sick friends, and they're like, of course you got male breast cancer, wait, one day when you're a man, you'll get a real manly cancer, and unfortunately my buddy Tom passed away. He had a sick sense of humor. Um, but I mean, I became an advocate because there's some people in the medical industry that don't belong there. Like when I was first diagnosed with malignant cancer, tumor in my chest, they told me in front of my 11-year-old kid. They were like, "You have a malignant tumor in your lung," and I was like, right in front of my daughter. And my first instinct was to throat punch the doctor,
Right.
like, come on, man. And as I was going through the whole thing, when I had my bilobectomy, I was on the table for 9 hours. And what happened was they took my mid and lower lobe, my right lung out, and I was on a gurney like this for 9 hours. So when I got off the gurney, um, I was one of those guys that in the recovery room, my blood pressure crashed, and I started screaming because they couldn't give me any more drugs. Right. So my recovery to that was the pain doctor tripped over my line and bent the epidural in my back.
Oh my God.
And I said, oh, wait, it gets better, right? And I had my chest tube in, and the nurse tripped over the line, pulled my chest tube out. And here's the best one. The nurse was cleaning my catheter, and she turned around and she pulled my catheter halfway out. I'm still peeing sideways.
Yeah.
It's 25 years later. Well,
Holy.
no, actually, the surgery was in 2017. So
Yeah, but okay.
yeah,
Everything
yeah.
that could go wrong,
It's
uh,
kind of like God said, you know what, we're going to give you a job. I always thought I was going to be. I always thought I was going to be successful in like something I did in business, and it was no. I became a 9/11 cancer guy. And if that's my take in life, and I'm going to sit in it, I'm going to own it.
yep. Well, but somebody needs to be that voice, and
Yeah.
and that's how I feel with a lot of things that I've gone through. I'm like, really, this, and how do we go with that story forward? And I know that's one of your things from this point forward. But it's how do we go? Somebody needs to be the voice, the mental wellness pieces. I'm a suicide survivor that how to, and I was told during that time, I heard a voice said, "You got to tell the story." I don't know what story I have to tell, but now I'm an author. I go out there talking about mental wellness. That all right, I don't know what story. That I know I need to get other stories out there. That's why I have the podcast. There's things that we experience that it's got to be us. I don't know any other way. I do have a belief in God, and God only gives you what you can handle, and He knows there's a way to do that. How how do you feel now? Obviously, none of this is a chosen thing, but how do you move forward?
I really do believe it is a chosen thing. I believe you have to you get beat down so much to where you are you're brought up to a level, right? And he says, "This is it. This is your job, right? This is it. Go and
Right,
do.
right.
Go and do, right?" So I believe I'm here to disturb the comfortable and comfort the disturbed. That means I'm here on this task. I'm getting into the biggest task of my life. And that's being a patient advocate and going around and interviewing 9/11 survivors and 9/11 people that have cancer. And I'm going around 25 cities in the United States. I'm taking an RV in mid-July and I'm going for a ride. And I want to hear stories because I believe that I have a voice. And while I still have it, before Barrett's crushes my esophagus, I'm going to be the best advocate I can for mental health because there's a lot of, when it comes to cancer, there's a lot of self isolation. There's a lot of people walking away because you're not fun. There's a lot of, just devastating crap that you have to go through. And I know people are going through it as well. So I want to have their voices heard and I want to present something to the world. And yeah, it's my RV for cancer journey, my growing through pain.
So what cities are you going to go to?
Oh God. So this is like kind of like, it's not definitive, right? Because
Yeah, yeah,
anything can
yeah.
change because gas just went up to six
Well,
friggin'
right,
dollars or whatever.
and life gets in the way,
Yeah. No, 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 yeah, definitely. I'm starting off in Atlanta because that's where my journey started, right? Because I was living in Atlanta when I got cancer. I'm going to Birmingham, Shreveport, Dallas, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, I'm sorry, Amarillo, Texas, Albuquerque, Phoenix, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Carson City, Salt Lake, Denver, Colorado. Then I'm going to, I can't see that side, Omaha, Nebraska, Des Moines, Iowa, Chicago, Cincinnati, Youngstown. Then, of course, DC. Then, of course, Shanksville, Philadelphia, Jersey City, and then New York. I plan on rolling up to Good Morning America on September 11th.
That's awesome.
They don't know it yet, though.
Well, you got to put it out there. You want to know something, you put it out there. Um,
Oh,
we
I'm creating a social media campaign around this.
Well, let me help you out. I'm going to keep, that's one of the reasons why we do these things. I love putting out stories, not because it's not about me, it's your story. So none of this is about me, but I know that if one person could hear your story and reach out to you for the guidance and resources that you know and that you help provide, then I've done my job. I mean, there's a saying that I talk about all the time. You save one person, you save the world. I might not save anybody, but I know if the message I push out there gets heard by the right people, they'll be saved. And that's why I really love meeting people like yourself who are going out there and doing huge things for lots of people.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you never know about Good Morning America. I've been, a month ago, actually a month ago today, I got a stent. But the reason why, when we talk about men's mental health or men's health as a general, I didn't, I was like, all right, I'm overweight, big deal. I'll get into shape. And I was watching Good Morning America, and Sam Champion talked about a heart situation, and from that heart situation he was going through, I didn't get out of bed that morning. I was like, I'm going to Google my health coverage. Luckily, I have health coverage. Massapequa, where I live here in New York, and a cardiologist. God had it that a three o'clock appointment. This one guy had a 3 o'clock appointment affiliated with Hospitals. So I didn't have to kind of vet this guy. I was like, all right, he's with Northwell. Relatively, they're all, a level of good generally. And 2 weeks after that, they had me on the table with a stent. I had two blockages, including the Widowmaker. Um, so, we need to talk about health, and that's why I'm bringing that part up. But we also need to talk about mental health, which is
Mental health is so important. Huh?
Yeah, people laughed at me, in the hospital. They're like, "Well, how are you going through this?" And you seem pretty calm. I go, "That's what I teach people. I help people through traumatic events. I learned how to do things, but I knew how to do it for myself at that point. How, because I know you're a mental health advocate also. I'm sure all of this has led you to that. Before any of this started, before the journey started, were you a mental health specialist? Would you even talk about it? Being honest, right?
It's a knucklehead from Jersey.
Yeah, right.
It's a knucklehead from Jersey, and it just all these events. Like, one of the things, it was crazy. Like, I never even looked back at 9/11. Right? So I went, did a couple days, and then I left. I went to Florida. I got married. I started my life, and then it was like 3 years later, 21, 2001, 2000, yeah, 2004. Exactly September of 2004. Me and my wife at the time, we created a real estate portfolio, and I got wiped out. I got hit by 2 hurricanes in 3 weeks, and it was just like it was just endless mental health, endless stories of BS and just all of this crap. And no, I want to teach people how to tap into the quantum field. I want to teach people how to tap into heart and brain coherence. I want to teach people that it isn't, your story's not over. My story isn't over.
Well,
It's
so tell
not.
me a little bit about this quantum. That was another thing that I really like because I do these quantum codes, for healing and things like that. Tell me about what you're talking about.
So the quantum field is everything outside of us.
Mhm.
Okay. There it's the same. The way I describe it is like you have a cell phone and you get a cell phone bill, right? But your cell phone isn't tied to anything. It's not attached to anything. There's nothing that you plug in. It's a frequency. And what people don't understand is everybody has their own frequency. And when you dial in, when you focus in on your frequency, that static goes away and you laser focus on your math, on your frequency. And when you do, you develop heart and brain coherence. And when that kicks in, brother, let me tell you something, man. That is so powerful. And let me explain something real quick, right? And I'll tell you a couple of incidences that it actually works. So I was studying epigenetics. It's the same heart and brain
Yep.
coherence studied by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And so I went to a 9/11 yearly physical. Sorry. And when the doctor came out, she had my X-ray, and she said, "Do Craig, have you ever had a bad X-ray?" And I was like, "Oh man, she's gonna tell me I'm gonna be dead by Tuesday." And like I've
Mhm.
already had the bilobectomy, right? They already removed parts of my lung, and I was like, you know what, man? Whatever she says is it's not gonna change my smile on my face or how I walk out of here. And come to find out, she didn't even have my paperwork from 9/11. So when she saw this mass, right? She saw this mass, and it was because I didn't have my mid and lower lobe of my right lung. She didn't even know that.
Oh my
And
God.
and I was like, this works because none of my biochemistry changed. And this is so important.
Hmm.
Another example I can give you. So this 2004, I had my 15th knee surgery. Before that, I had a knee ablation where it gave me 3 blood clots. Almost died. Right, 3 blood clots. So I go to the surgeon, and he performs the surgery on me, and this is 2024, and he in November of 2024, I went back to him and I was like, "Look, man, this thing is swollen. It's not it's not going down. This is 2 months already." And he's like, to be honest with you, I believe you have synovial sarcoma. And I was like, again, what? And 5 minutes later, he addressed me. And I don't know if I can curse on here, but
Yeah, go for it.
goes
It's
like this to
French.
me.
I
He
hear it's French.
he goes, I give you a potential diagnosis of synovial sarcoma, right? And you laughed in my fucking face. How did you do that? And I told them about epigenetics and heart and brain coherence, and nothing dampens my day. Nothing, zero. And I refuse to allow any misdiagnoses to do that. I just won't allow it in my life.
Right.
And I have all the scars, and I want people to understand that you can think different. In the cancer industry, the whole thing is scanxiety.
Yep.
People are getting their scans and their scans and it's fuck that, man. Go get your scan. Who cares? Walk in, go in, get it, and go.
Yeah, and really, you know, while it all might be scary, and
it
so
is
far,
scary. It's scary as hell, man.
yeah,
It is very scary.
but whatever you got to do, you just got to face it, you know, and I mean that's why when they would talk to me about my heart, that was the only similar situation. I'm like, all right, let's go do what we got to do. Like, all right, whatever I had done or is already done. I can't go back and be like, oh, I should have done this. It's moving forward. It's that moving forward part.
From this point forward is how I live my life, man.
Yeah.
And I refuse to look back.
I love that. I love that. But it's a strong mindset, and not everybody's like that. And you know,
You have to develop a resilient mindset.
yep,
You have to.
yep, no, 100%. And that's one of the things I learned is you have to always be resilient. It's not the fake it till you make it. It's not even the idea. It's like, okay, what do I have to do? You know, okay, give me my information so I can make the best educated decision I need to, and then what do we do to go forward?
A thoracic oncologist, when he told me, you got to get your surgery, and I was like, all right, I needed to settle for myself.
Right.
And I asked him, I was like, I have to ask you a question because I have to mentally prepare for this. Is this going to hurt? And he started laughing, because we had a
Yeah.
rapport, right? And he's like, yeah, man, like hell. And I was like, oh, okay, let me just,
Yep.
let me just put that in the head and just, let me go.
Yep.
Yeah. The world that we live in is the world in here because we're
Mhm.
all in this 24 hours a day. This is the only real estate we can own is our mindset.
Correct.
So why not toughen it out? Why not, and a lot of people tell me like, oh, 9/11, it was really bad and everything like that. And I was like, yeah, but you know what? I had to deal with molestation, drug addiction as a teen, bankruptcies, divorce. It was all part of the whole story.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why I believe this quest that I'm on is it's my quest. It's my
Sure.
quest.
Yep. So with this quest, uh, how are you helping and speaking about the mental wellness piece? Uh,
I'm gonna be talking with uh people that are going through the worst of the worst.
yep.
And I'm gonna be recording. It's gonna be for a documentary that I'm putting out. It's going to have everybody, the vets, cancer patients, like who is we're all going through something right now.
Yep.
Everybody's going through something, right? So it's like I want to explain this to a point where people just they got to get out of this thinking. There's too many things that are holding us back from having a life of abundance. Being
100%.
grateful every day. You know, it's what I'm like. I love the aha moments. I love when people like, because of you, I didn't quit. I love that.
Yep.
I get
Yep.
off on that.
Right, but somebody has to be the light that brings people in and show them the way because it all becomes overwhelming.
It's all too consuming, man.
Yep.
I have this thing. It's called the Message to Humanity. It's 10 minutes long. You mind if I read it?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah, go
right.
for it.
Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Craig Sotkovsky. I'm a father, a husband, an entrepreneur, and I am a 9/11 volunteer at the World Trade Center. And I stand in front of you of one of tens of thousands who are sick and dying. I don't say this to you as a story of woe. I say this to serve notice to you that if you play life like most people and live in fear every day, life will pass you by and leave you unfulfilled and your potential buried at the graveyard, where you will be with your books that you never wrote, or your songs that you never sang, or those apologies that you never gave. As you think about your life, I want to encourage you to live it as if it was going to stop right here, right now, done, over. No more texting, no more phone calls, no more emails, no more, I'll talk to you tomorrow. It happens sometimes, and you never think it's going to happen to you because life is coming for you, whether you want to participate or not. Life's unpredictable. It'll show up knocking on your front door just as Murphy's Law is knocking on your back door, and that hurts. I'm telling you, life is hard, and we have to dust ourselves off and stand back up, ready to take the next hit, because you know it's coming. It wasn't until I stood up again and again that I recognized that being within, a universal energy that gives me its grace and allows me to light my beacon so my global brothers and sisters can see. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're seeking is seeking you. So show up, and I promise you, you will be your own best audience. And it's going to take that deep down desire to succeed for you to achieve all that is being presented to you and for you. In my faith, I believe we're all gods within, light seeking the human experience, and we're all here to take each other home once we have learned and grown. In a very famous book, there's a quote that says, "May the greatest among you be thy servant." I'm here to coming to you with a message. I'm here to disturb the comfortable and comfort the disturbed. And I bring to the show two very simple questions that never seem to get answered. Why are we the only species on planet Earth that pays to live here? And the granddaddy of them all, if we're all so different, why is it that nobody laughs or cries in a different language? I believe that once we start talking about our commonalities rather than our differences, and when we speak truth, we never have to remember a lie. That's when we can move from this point forward. We should never stop being a student of life, because if you look around, you'll find lessons in the people, places, and things that surround you. I really do understand how hard life can be. I've been knocked down and stood on and beat up, and that was just in my 20s. Statistics indicate that over the next year, life is going to touch you or me or someone you know with sickness or some kind of accident that'll be so devastating that it'll stop us dead in our tracks. So what I want you to do is write this down. I am capital C for courageous, because when life comes for me, I have to be courageous to take on anything that it brings my way. And I am capital R for relentless, because I have to be relentless in the pursuit of my dreams because they are mine. I am capital A for align, because I have to align my spirit to follow my calling without distractions or outside influences. I am capital I for instinctive, because I have to use my instincts to tune into that God feeling within. And I am capital G for growth, because in order to grow, I need to till my mind in order to plant my seeds of hope. Ladies and gentlemen, now be that light shining over your shoulder during your trying times. And as we pass through dark, stormy seas, we need to adjust our thought sails as the hurricane winds try to capsize our minds and leave us with no anchor as we aimlessly navigate through life's uncharted waters. Life can be very tough, my friends. It's going to be hard. Nobody said it was going to be fair or easy. I know there are going to be days that test your resolve. Take the test and be brave when all you have left is that burning desire to change and grow. And work diligently on your vision. And don't ever stop being who you're supposed to be and not what society has branded you to be. It is Nick Vujicic who says fear is often described as false evidence appearing real. I believe him. Fear is a sickness. And I bring to you my motivating spirit as a game changer. So I'm encouraging you to raise your vibration and change your frequency and produce your God-given energy to turn on that inner light and use it to light the torch of someone else's burning desire. Changing the world is not an easy task, and you got to be hungry, as my mentor Les Brown loves to say. We must get radically uncomfortable and step away from our self-sabotaging behaviors and emotional insecurities in order to move from this point forward. I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, from this point forward is how I live my life. I have taken the time and invested in myself to be able to create states in my body that can take over the chemistry set within. And once we stop reacting to life and we sit in our thoughts and allow time in our temple, the only real estate we can own, can we respond to the obstacles in our life with clarity and deep-rooted conviction to overcoming the disempowering thoughts that no longer serve us. And as I laser focus on my purpose, I encourage you to do the same, and for you to inspire your friends and your family, as well as your communities, to write down your goals and dreams and to study them and nurture them like a garden with your children. I don't know you, ladies and gentlemen, but I do know something about you. You have greatness in you. And when you become bolder in your thoughts and you have your heart energy in line with your message, there is no stopping an idea whose time has come. We need to encourage each other to use our voices and seek out individuals and enlightened groups that will help us in collaborating on building communities of like-minded people and forward-thinking sustainable projects. We're all here to serve, we're all here on a mission to serve humanity, to bring new strategies and applied solutions to old thoughts and convoluted thinking. Because we're custodians and we all have been given greatness within. And once we make a commitment to ourselves and have a vested interest in our own endeavors and ideas, can we ever be free from disempowering, stinking thinking? So I encourage you to believe in yourself. There have been many days when I had no belief in my own thoughts and actions, and I needed to find that push just to get out of bed. A friend of mine told me if I was stressed out to write my obituary and then live a life as if I would like to be remembered. I want to be remembered as giving and empathetic, a stand-up guy and a person with good character. And I know to be these things, I always need to be accountable while I'm still breathing and contributing to society. So I come to you, ladies and gentlemen, as life has brought me down to my knees so I can rise one more time. I believe that when death no longer scares you, there's a universal change within. And here's the thing. I know that I will be forever in the thoughts of my loved ones. So I don't agonize about what I leave them. I agonize about what I leave in them and in the lessons we have nurtured and the experiences we have shared. I have learned a very profound lesson in my 60 years on this volcanic meatball. And it's 80 and it's life is 80% showing up and 20% how you perform. And there are no dress rehearsals. This is a one shot, one take experience. So remind yourself, thinking you're one in a million is a mediocre thought at best. Be that one in 8 billion and stand out in a world of stand-ins so you can shine. After all, you beat out 400 million sperm cells just to be uniquely you, so don't waste the experience. Be relentless in how you celebrate your life, and don't forget to celebrate the small incremental wins, because life is not a sprint, it's a marathon, and it will continue to beat you down if you don't take the time to work on yourself. There's an expression that says, if you want to hear God laugh, tell him your plans. Because let me tell you, I'm not afraid to meet him. I think he has a funny sense of humor. I know we're all here for a moment, and most people have anxiety and depression and worry about future events that haven't happened yet. And they turn their failures into their children's successes, leaving their offspring depressed, anxious, and suicidal. That is our global culture. It's Dr. Joe Dispenza who said that humans have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and that 90% of those thoughts are the same ones that we had from the day before. So we are literally living in the past. We need to break this cycle to move from this point forward. We need to settle in our minds and stop thinking our comfort zones are going to save us. They're not. We have to stretch past our mental blocks that hold us captive from good, solid decisions. So I'm encouraging you to take back control of your life. And as you drive yourself to your dreams, always look through the windshield to new and brighter horizons. There's a reason why the rearview mirror is so small, because where you're going is not where you're going to be. As new thoughts and new ideas help us leave all our mental luggage behind. And as you get to your next stop along life's highway, exhale. Then take a deep breath and hold it and exhale again. You'll be that much lighter. Well, maybe. Might still have a overnight bag or two stuck up in here. Because as you know, mastering life is always an ongoing conversation from within. Ladies and gentlemen, as my friend and one of my mentors, Keurig Ashley, loves to say, have a most outstanding day. Thank you.
Man, that is great. I That's it. We're done. That was no, seriously, that was some great stuff, man. I loved it. I loved hearing it, and that is a great final message. But the one of the messages I want to make sure that we have on here is also, hey, how can we get in touch with you? How can we support your missions, your trip, and everything else?
I have a GoFundMe,
Yeah.
and I'd like to, even if you send $1 or you share it, or just send me a kind word, it helps along the path.
Make sure that I get a copy of that, so that way I'll put it in the show notes. So definitely let's see if we can support this. It's a great mission. Not only is it the mental wellness, but it's also helping all these people who really paid it forward in one way or another, and that's the really important part of this conversation.
Yeah, I think it's very important. I really do.
Well, thank you so much, and know that I'm here. I really am here to support you in any way. Keep calling me. Keep doing everything so that we're gonna get this message out there now. It's always because it's so powerful, and what I want to do is just keep supporting you. Any of my guests, I really make that connection. So just keep using me in there. And anybody that needs some mental wellness assistance, I'm there. I volunteer a lot of time to make sure that either if they need some more professional, I'm not a therapist, so it's not a. It's I just have these tools that God gave me.
That's it.
Yep. Use the tools that God gave you and keep playing with it. All right. Well, thank you so much for everything, and I really do appreciate it. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
For everybody else, let's always wish peace and love in your lives. And when you bring a bat, just be awesome today. Be awesome in this moment. And God bless you.